Hey kiddos and kiddas, we are looking at two variable linear systems today. So when we're solving by lining up our variables, we're trying to murder one of them. And a great way to do that is if after you've lined up the variables, you can get one of the variables for both equations to be the same coefficient with opposite signs. So then you can add the equations together. Those equations with the opposite signs but the same coefficients will cancel each other out, and then you only have one variable to deal with. So some examples of how that works. This first one, everything is already lined up for us, which is really nice. We got x over x, y over y. And I notice that if I were to add these together, my y's would end up canceling out because I have a positive y and a negative y. So positive 1 minus 1 would cancel out, and we don't have any more y's. The 2x and the 2x would add to give me 4x, and then my 4 minus the 1 would give me 3. Now that I have my x, just an x, I can get it alone by dividing my 4 over. And I've got x is equal to 3 over 4. Now that I have my x, I can plug this into one of the other equations so that I can solve for my y. And it doesn't matter which one you plug it into. You could think whichever one looks easier, or whatever one has your favorite numbers. It really doesn't matter. Now that I have both my x and my y, I'm just going to put them in an ordered pair as my final solution. And this is ordered pair as in ordered by the alphabet, so our x goes before our y every single time. For our next, this is just another example on how to solve. I have my x and y's already lined up, which is really nice, but they don't have the same coefficients. None of them do. So what I do notice is that my y's at least have opposite signs. So what I could do is multiply the equation on the bottom by 3 so that I would have a positive 3y in the first equation, a negative 3y in the second equation, and then they could cancel out. Now I'm just going to do a little bit of addition here. My 3y's will cancel out, and it should leave me with just x's. And my x ends up being a really nice 4. Again, now that I have my x value, I can plug it into whichever equation and solve for the y. And now that I have my 3, I can just put this again into my ordered pair. When it comes to the types of linear solutions, we do have 3 different types. The first type and the most common is where we have 2 lines that intersect and they only have one solution. We also have a case where we might have infinitely many solutions. This means that technically they're the same line, there might just be some multiplication to make them look different from each other. Also, whenever you're doing these solvings, in case you don't notice right away that they are 2 of the same line, what ends up happening is you cancel out your x and your y value both, and the resulting ends up being the same. So you have a 0 equal to 0 or a 7 equal to a 7. So you know that it's infinitely many solutions, or your lines are exactly the same thing. They're always touching all the time. The last kind is no solution, and this is when you have 2 lines that are parallel to each other and they never touch. So if my solution is going to be where the lines are touching and they never touch, then I must have no solution. This is another case where you could end up with your x and y values canceling out, and whatever results is not equal. So you could have 0 equal to 7 or negative 5 equal to positive 3. It just doesn't work out. It's not the same, so you would have no solution. And here's an example. I noticed right away that if I were to multiply the top by 2, then I could get my x's and y's to be the same, both of them. I could also divide the bottom one by 2, but then I would end up with a fraction with the 5, and I don't really want to have to deal with that. So now when I add these together, my x's do indeed cancel out, so do the y's, which means I have 0 on this side, and this is going to be equal to 11. And I know that 0 is not the same as 11, so this is going to be no solution. And these are all the examples that I have for you guys today. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. If you think this could be helpful for someone else, please feel free to share. Spread the love.